Hello and welcome to Thursday's Knots Today with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're well today. Here's what's on the show. First, we're heading to Tollerton, where residents fear for their safety amid risks of potential contamination.
There clearly is a risk, and that risk needs to be understood. Can you grow vegetables? Can you dig the land? People need to know that. It doesn't mean to say you can't live here safely, but we need to know what the constraints are, and this really needs to be clarified.
We'll have more on that story shortly, plus as new employment figures are published for Knots, we're going to be taking a look at what the local jobs market looks like. From the Department of Work and Pensions joins us in just a few minutes to look at what opportunities there are currently, including for anyone looking for some summer work too. Plus, we've been asking for your thoughts on student accommodation in the city as new figures show demand is cooling as student numbers fall at both universities.
So I think the volume of old properties is there's too many. So the newer properties I think should attract overseas students, for example, into the city. So I think it's a good thing.
And later on, we're going to be catching up with the brilliant Eve Smallman from the Knots Edit to hear what's happening in Knots over the next couple of weeks. Eve's here to tell us what you and the family can get up to as we edge ever closer to those school summer holidays, including this year's Pride and the return of the Glowworm Festival too. Plus, in sport, there's a new face at Nottingham Forest. Brazilian youngster Jair Kanya has penned a 5-year contract at the City Ground just weeks after his Brazilian side, Botafogo, beat European champions PSG in the Club World Cup. We'll hear his excitement later on. All that and loads more coming up just for you this Thursday afternoon. But first, a local councillor is calling on Rushcliffe Borough Council to take concerns of toxic waste on a development site seriously. Residents at Tollerton Park say potentially radioactive material found at a former Nottingham City airfield could risk harmful substances affecting them and others. And although the authority and a developer behind the plans for nearly 4,000 houses say they are taking the issue seriously, many are still worried about the future of their homes. Jack Sims has more.
Nottingham City Airport once defended Tollerton from the attacks of the Luftwaffe. But the greatest risk may not come from above, but far below. Plans for more than 4,000 homes were first submitted here in 2020, leading to the airfield's closure earlier this year. Although a master plan is yet to be approved by Rushcliffe Borough Council, works have gone ahead to secure the site, including fencing. This has led to concerns being raised by the nearby residents of a caravan park and campaign group Save Nottingham Airfield, who earlier this year, after a Freedom of Information request, found a report from 2008 documented contaminated land across the former RAF site, where aircraft and components coated in radium paint, a highly radioactive material, were buried. The report came after an anonymous member of the public suggested the residual radium caused 4 Tollerton Park residents to be diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. Although the report does not support a link between the two, residents say more should be done to make their homes safe.
I know at least 2 residents have found asbestos on the site. Now, to my mind, this should be investigated too. They're saying everything's fine on the site and there's nothing to worry about. Residents have read that report and now they feel that we would like to see something done about this.
And even local councillors are calling for more clarity on the contamination.
So if you put in a planning application, which is what has happened here, to build on the site, that wasn't raised. And this report did put constraints on what should be done here, or implied constraints on what should be done here, but nobody knew about it. There clearly is a risk, and that risk needs to be understood. Can you grow vegetables? Can you dig the land? People need to know that. It doesn't mean to say you can't live here safely, but we need to know what the constraints are, and this really needs to be clarified.
In response to concerns, Rushcliffe Borough Council said it's satisfied with the previous report's findings, but says land contamination risk assessments will be carried out if planning permission is granted. Developer Vistry Homes also said it's carrying out extensive investigations, which, when completed, will guide any necessary remediation strategies. So, although the airfield is no longer active, the mistakes of the past still cause concern for plans in the future. Jack Sims, for Notts TV.
Thank you, Jack. Right, if you're someone who is looking for some summer work, well, you might want to listen out to this next chat, and that is because new employment figures have been published today, setting out just what the jobs market is looking like here in Nottingham and Nottinghamshire. And whether you're after some temporary work or something a little more permanent, we're about to break down some of the opportunities on offer currently as we catch up with Simon Lavelle from the Department for Work and Pensions. Simon, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me again.
You are very welcome. So the new employment figures came out today. What do they show us?
They're showing that there's a rise, obviously, and that is because of the move to UC, where we're migrating customers from ESA. Obviously, not every one of them is down to that, but we're migrating people from ESA onto Universal Credit.
And why does that make such a difference?
Because it's the figures are based on the amount of people claiming Universal Credit in Nottingham.
Get you. So obviously we are kind of coming to the end of July now as we head into those kind of hazy summer months. Is the summer a good time for jobs to become available or the opposite?
Absolutely. To be honest, this year all through all seasons it's been a good time to get jobs in Nottingham. Nottingham's flourishing for vacancies. I'll give you some figures around hospitality, etc. that are available at the moment. We've just finished obviously helping recruit for the beach.
Course.
East Midlands Airport, we continue to support them and try and attract the right people onto their academy where they teach them all the skills that they need, confidence as well, and obviously if they get an interview, guaranteed interview at the end, and the airport's pretty much now all year round, isn't it, rather than just March to October.
And it seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger as well, which is obviously good for the jobs market too.
It's lovely, yeah, it's good for Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire, isn't it?
So apart from the airport jobs, what kind of jobs are available at the moment?
So at the moment with HMRC recruiting again, they're obviously a big employer in Nottingham, aren't they? They're recruiting again. There's always health and social care jobs, so we've got a jobs fair at Loxley House on the 6th of August. There's all sorts of, people tend to think care, and I used to myself before I worked for DWP, it's clearing up other people. It's not always. There's managerial work, office work as well there. So to try and attract the right people and to try and persuade people, that might be a career for you. They've got jobs fair. There's 12 employers at Loxley House Jobs Fair. And
I think you're right. I think it is that opportunity to just chat to different employers and sort of say, what does it involve? What does this job involve? Is it something my skills can go towards? Because you're right. There's some jobs where you think, I could never do that, or that job's not for me. But actually, once you start talking, you think, actually, I can do that. That is the kind of career I could have. Yeah,
and I think people think, if they've been a parent, which is the hardest job in the world, if they haven't got any skills, but that's one of the most skilled jobs, in the world, isn't it, being a parent? Absolutely. So you've got transferable skills. If you're looking for help with how to use those skills in the job market, speak to your work coach on Universal Credit. They can get you out to places to do the CVs, training, etc.
And I was going to say, because there will be people who haven't been in employment for a long time for whatever reason, how can people get that confidence to develop those skills and the things that employers are looking for if they haven't been in work for a long time?
So, for example, if you haven't been in work for a long time, you speak to your work coach at an appointment, attend all these appointments. There's plenty of training out there. There's plenty of what we call I've lost my track now. There's plenty of training out there where the company come in to us and have the interviews in the job centre, on the job training, teaching your communication skills. Interviews aren't quite the same anymore. Like when I first started, you go in and give your spiel. But now they're watching you in teams. So they do team building. Build a tower out of straws and paper, etc., and just see how you communicate with each other.
And I think that's it. When you kind of get into these interview situations again, it does change over time, but actually it is something that you can do. If people are watching right now and they're thinking, actually, I am looking for a summer job, I am looking for something maybe more permanent, where can they find out more?
So on our Find a Job on gov.uk, at the moment in Nottingham alone, there's 65 hospitality jobs going. Care, there's 542, which is why we need that jobs fair. Warehouse is 40, there's 258 jobs in admin, construction at the moment is 52, and security there's 200. So we sometimes work with security companies where they can get their SIA badge paid for and as well.
So there's jobs available. I mean, like you coming in to tell us about them, Simon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. All right, it's time for some more Notts news now, and police are investigating following a stabbing in Top Valley. Officers were called to Old Farm Road just after 6:30 on Wednesday evening to reports of an attack on a man. He's currently being treated in hospital, and police don't believe his injuries are life-threatening. A cordon remained in place on Thursday morning whilst officers searched for those responsible, and Nottinghamshire Police have urged anybody with information about the incident to get in touch by calling them on 101. Next, a man has been charged after someone was spotted wielding an antique sword in Mansfield's Berry Hill Park. Officers were called to the park at 5:30 last Friday morning after reports of a suspect carrying a sheathed antique-style sword. He was detained nearby on Southwell Road West and arrested on suspicion of possessing an offensive weapon in public. Charles Moir, who's 29 and of Mansfield, will appear at Mansfield Magistrates Court on August the 5th, and police said those sorts of incidents will always generate a police response. Right, it's time for a short break. Now, I'd say grab yourself a nice lolly, but the weather's really changed. When we get back, we're going to be hearing what you can get up to across Notts over the next few weeks as we catch up with Eve Smallman from the Notts Edit. Plus, we're going to be hearing your thoughts on student accommodation as demand falls. And of course, talking about that weather, we've got a full weather update for you. What's coming across Nottinghamshire over the next few days. And I've got to say, you probably will need your brolly. All that on the way next. Hello, welcome back to Thursday's show with me, Emma Caldwell. I hope you're all right today. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's what's happening in Notts today. First, and more than 400 people applied to join Nottingham's Council House register in each month of the first quarter of this year. Nottingham City Council says the supply of housing is falling significantly short of demand, with the numbers on waiting lists now surpassing 11,000 in the city alone. This is up from just short of 9,000 back in 2020 and comes as the Labour-led authority reviews its housing policies to assess how much it allocates properties to people on its housing register. Next, and 2 women, including one who was unconscious, were rescued from a river in Notts after getting into trouble in the water. Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service were called to Gunthorpe Lock at about 10:30 on Tuesday evening after reports of a woman struggling. On arrival, a woman was rescued and brought back to safety, and an inflatable boat was deployed to search for a second woman who was found unconscious. She was brought back to consciousness following help from the ambulance crews, and the fire service have urged people not to enter open water. All right, it's time for our second great chat of the day now, and it's time to look at some of the fabulous events happening in Notts over the next few weeks. Whether you're after some great tribute acts, some running, celebration of the LGBTQ community, or some family fun, there is loads happening. And joining me now to look through it all is the fabulous Eve Smallman from the Notts Edit, who joins me now. Hello.
Hello.
There is lots going on across Nottinghamshire I feel like obviously as we get into kind of these summer months, we're talking about the kids' school summer holidays as well, loads of different things that are happening. What are we going to start with today?
Well, we've got a lot of festivals coming up. So first of all, we're starting with Boho Festival. That's July 25th, 27th. That's at Millview Glamping in Newton, and tickets they start from $38.75 for adults and $11.25 for children. Okay. So it's very, like, as you say, boho vibe, very bohemian. There's live music, a lot of tribute acts, so plenty to sing along to, and wellness activities like yoga, massages, sound bowls, all of that.
See, it does sound brilliant. I'm just reading through. The Mongolian Disco Yurt is going to be hosting Pilates in the morning and kids entertainment in the afternoon, which just sounds lovely. So it's kind of, obviously we've had Glastonbury and, you know, for a lot of people that is just so out of budget and out of kind of reach for what they can do. But actually this sounds like sort of a budget-friendly option.
Yes, I think that is in the countryside, so you've got all the lovely views, but you're not going to go all the way down to Somerset either, and you can camp there as well. There are day tickets, but there are camping weekend tickets available as well if you want to go all in.
Love that, and that's taking place at Millview Camping in Newton. Lovely. First one, big tick from me, Boho Festival, sounds wonderful. What have we got else coming up?
This is definitely one of the biggest events of the year in Nottingham City. So this is Notts Pride, July 26th, and it's free entry, which is amazing. So the event kicks off around 11 with the Notts Pride March, which goes all the way from Listergate to Slenton Market.
And can I just say as well, we've taken the kids for the last few years. It is such a brilliantly inclusive place to take the family. I know sometimes you think, oh, Pride March is going to be this, it's going to be that, you might have expectations about it, but actually it was the most wonderful celebration that we've taken the kids to in Nottingham.
It's really great. And then when you get to Centre Market as well, there's educational stalls and workshops. There's all sorts for the family to get them stuck into as well.
Yeah, there really is. So when's that taking place?
That's July 26th, and it starts at Listergate, and then in the afternoon all the main stuff happens in Centre Market. So you can kind of do both bits, or do one or the other, or whatever you fancy, really.
I mean, there's going to be the main stage. I'm just looking at kind of who's going to be on there. Girl band, of course, who we love here at Notts TV. They are so good. Rob Green, as well as drag acts like RuPaul's Drag Race star Release, that's going to be performing as well. There's loads of different venues as well. It's not just at that one place, but I think I'm so pleased that Notts Pride just gets bigger and bigger, as it absolutely should. I feel like we're a good city.
Amazing city for all this. And then you say you've got Centre Market, which gives it a bit more breathing room, because I know it's in Hockley for most of the time, which is lovely, and they've still got DJs and dancing happening there, so if that's your Notts Pride home, you can go there too, but it's just really spread out across the city centre, which is fantastic, as it should be.
Love it. So we are ticking that off the list as well. Now this one, I always like to feel very enthusiastic about the things that are going on. The running festival is probably not one that's been on my calendar, but please do tell us about it.
Right, well, I hate to be one of those people, but I do actually run,
you love it.
I'll bring the enthusiasm.
I wish I was one of those people.
No, I'm one of those people, but I'm very slow. Like, I enjoy the vibes, but I'm not the speediest. But this is Nottingham Running Festival from August 3rd. It's at Colic, which is one of my favourite places to run. You'll probably see me there at some point during the week or a weekend day where I'm just sweating it out. So if you recognise me on the TV and you're like, who's that girl? I think I've seen her sweating before. That's me.
So what happens at a running festival?
So you have a mix of distances that you can do. So there's 5k, 10k and half marathon. So if you're training for the Robin Hood half marathon like I am, it's a nice little sort of prep, kind of work out what kind of time you're going to do. You can get a t-shirt as well, and I really like Colic because you've got this sort of beautiful lakes.
It's a good one. I like this one a lot, and all in support of Nottinghamshire Hospice as well. Yes. We're running out of time, so I need to talk about Glowworm Festival.
Yes, very quickly. Glowworm Festival. It's Thoresby Park, August 8th to 10th. Lots of things for the kids to do. So there's CBeebies stars like Justin Fletcher, Mr. Tumble.
You were very excited about that one.
I love a bit of Mr. Tumble. I'm actually gutted. It's my birthday on August 8th, so I don't think I'm going to be able to go.
Oh, and there's so many people. Mr. Blobby's going to be there. You've got Zippy and George. It's a real mix of kids and grown-ups people.
Yeah, because there's going to be, Bluey and Hey Dougie, but obviously say like Mr. Blobby, so there's something for the adults and something for the kids, which is amazing.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us. People do want to find any more information, remind us your website.
Yes, go to thenotsedit.com. You can subscribe to receive our articles in your inbox for free.
Love it. Thank you so much, Eve. All right, we're moving on now, and it's time to talk about student housing. That's after new figures show demand for student accommodation is cooling, with the highest number of empty flats since records began. Nottingham City Council says it's increasingly unlikely that annual growth in students will be enough to fill both existing spaces and the hundreds being built over the coming years, with universities saying numbers are fluctuating over time. Well, we've been out into Nottingham to hear people's thoughts on this and how existing flats could be reused.
Yeah, I used to be a student at Notts Trent, and there were loads, like when you went to look for your student accommodation, there was loads and loads of listings, so there was quite a lot.
I think it just makes the city in general just really unaffordable and really unattractive for people who are looking to move into Nottingham.
So I think the volume of old properties is there's too many. So the newer properties I think should attract overseas students, for example, into the city. So I think it's a good thing.
Extend the kitchen and living room, because there's many places where I've lived, there's 8 people in a flat and you don't have a big living room, you don't have a big kitchen at all, or even some toilets or study spaces within the apartments for people to go study if they don't want to study in their room.
I don't think there's enough for the amount of people that there is in Nottingham that want to live here, and usually it's really expensive either way to live in Nottingham.
It could just be some years they needed extra places for people to live. It can be used for emergency housing. I know many people, many friends, who have had awful experiences with their flatmates, and I think it could be so easy for people like them just to move into a place like that.
All right, it's time for your Thursday sport now, and we are starting with Nottingham Forest and the new signing, Jayar Kunyar, who says he cannot wait to experience the City Ground for the first time. The 20-year-old centre-half has penned a 5-year contract with the Reds after leaving Brazilian side Botafogo, with his exit coming just weeks after his side beat current European champions Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 in the Club World Cup. He says he's really happy and grateful for the chance to join Forest and said he cannot wait to experience his debut in front of the City Ground crowd. Into cricket now, and there was no result for the Blaze in yesterday's trip to Somerset due to heavy rain. An impressive late charge of runs saw the Blaze post a respectable 138 from their innings, but the drizzle turned into stronger rain during the interval, which meant that Somerset didn't manage to get out and bat. There's one more Vitality Blast match for the side before finals day, which is a trip to Hampshire on Friday. And the Outlaws are in action tonight when they take on Worcestershire on the road. It comes off the back of their near-perfect victory over Durham last Friday, with the Green and Golds looking to secure their place in finals day. And after tonight, they'll play Lancashire at Trent Bridge on Friday. All right, elsewhere on the channel, and just in case you missed it, we recently aired a new episode of the Notts TV debate. It saw Francis Finn back on your screens discussing some of the biggest issues hitting the local, national and international headlines. And one of those was Forest's plans to redevelop the City Ground after the plans were recently approved for a second time. You can catch up on the full show on demand right now or via our website and YouTube channel too. And here is some of that City Ground discussion.
I think there's another issue involved in it because capacity allows the club to be able to spend more money on players, more money on wages, support the economy, and that would support the economy. At the end of the day, in my view, we've missed an opportunity to build an iconic new stadium that would future-proof the club.
Where would you put it?
There are several opportunities. It could go at Gamperson, it could go out the other side of the city, the Derby side of the city, maybe attract a few Derby County supporters.
Premiership football,
So that would be, but we are where we are now with it, and the decision has been made, and we can't go back. So,
but you think this is actually a mistake because now there is no going back?
Yeah, well, there is no going back. So, you know, I support my club and I want my club to expand, but at the end of the day, that would have been my preference.
All right, it's time for a look at your Thursday picture of the day now. Look at this absolutely beautiful shot of Newstead Abbey taken by Helen Green. You can kind of see a little rainbow on there as well. I love it. And don't forget, of course, to tag us on socials at Notts_TV to get your photos shown on the telly. All right, into your weather now. It was a wet start to Thursday, wasn't it? That cleared up though to bring some sunny spells with highs this evening of 22, lows of 17 overnight. Into Friday, and those temperatures are soaring. Highs of 28 degrees, lows of 18. But on Saturday, there is a chance of some thunderstorms. So if you are going to Splendour like us, don't forget your brolly. Highs on Saturday, 24, lows of 15, and a yellow weather warning for thunderstorms too. And that is the end of today's show. Thank you, as always, to all of our great guests today. I will be back with you same time tomorrow to guide you into the weekend. But until then, from everyone on the team, enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever it is you're up to. I'm Emma Caldwell, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.